I watched it purely because I knew I was going to talk about it with you. It
I
is called
saw
It is called Superhost.
this. I cannot watch. I saw the trailer, and that is not for me. That'll ruin my whole life post COVID.
You don't want to go to an Airbnb and suddenly be attacked by a murderous Airbnb host?
No, thank you. It's a big trust thing when you go and stay in those places. Like, there's been times when we've stayed in places and it's literally like a room in somebody's house. Like, we've had a place we stayed accidentally in the red light district of Geneva in Switzerland, and it was two single
Good.
beds in a room of somebody's house, and it was like you shared the bathroom with the guy, and it was like still, those like pink shag rag mats on the ground and like the plastic shower curtain that if it touches you, it makes you cold.
It sticks to you and it's just
Yeah.
gross.
And the whole time you're just telling yourself, nope, they've got good ratings. Nope, they've got good ratings. It's fine. Like, I'm going to be okay. Like, I cannot watch a movie like this and then go and do that.
Yeah, I think those Airbnb things, they feel a little bit safer when it's just like, yeah, here's an apartment, here's the code to get in, and you won't ever see me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you're, yes, sort of sharing the same space, that feels very weird to me.
Yeah. And we do a thing, like, especially unless we have to stay, like that Geneva one wasn't, but most of the time, if we can try and stay in places, we actually do hit the Superhost button on Airbnb. So you're guaranteed to get somebody that's got all these really good ratings. And we purposely look for places like the one from I only saw the trailer for the movie, but like they're doing, we try and look for unique places to stay in random places that are Superhosts. It's too many alarm bells for me, this movie.
Okay. Yeah, so this one is now streaming on the horror service Shudder, and it follows two travel vloggers named Teddy and Claire, but they've slowly been watching their YouTube channel decline in viewership. So they decide, hey, we're going to pivot slightly. We're still going to do the travel stuff. We're still going to go to these crazy, outlandish Airbnbs and places to stay, but we're going to make the content more about the superhost themselves and do interviews with them at their house and sort of get their backstory. And then it just turns out that the Airbnb host of this particular residence is named Rebecca, and she has a sinister side that we don't sort of come to know about until partway through the movie. And it ends up becoming this ridiculous, like over the top, silly horror thriller thing where the tension just like builds and builds and builds because you're like, this lady's weird, but I don't know why she's weird. She's just like constantly around and creepy, and then eventually it just goes to this like really gruesome, bloody ending section. And yeah, I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, I definitely got to watch this one with Buddy because I'm sure he's got some stories of strange, crazy travel hosts.
Yeah, we
But
have.
yeah,
The craziest one I've had, I think, just don't ask me why. It forced us to drink mulled wine. Like, when we first arrived, somehow twisted the conversation into, "Do you guys like mulled wine?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Anne loved it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll just try to be polite." And she's like, "Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll come back with the ingredients for some mulled wine." I'm like, okay. And then
okay.
like we're just kind of trying to hang out and relax, or whatever. There she is, turns up with all the ingredients. "Oh, are you going to make some?" We'll see how we go. Obviously, she works out we're not going to make it. Comes back again. "I've made you some mulled wine." I'm like, I don't want to drink this random lady's mulled wine. In the end, Anne just drank all of it and was fine. But some people are just, I think some people are just lonely.
Yeah, they've just sort of put their place up on Airbnb so that like they have that interaction with new
Yeah,
people every week.
yeah. I'm like you. I prefer to do the give me the box code and get out of it. But sometimes it's just, yeah. Some of the best ones we've stayed in have always been like, if they look really good on the photos and things, but the hosts are actually a lot closer than you realize. So we've stayed in one like at the top of LA that was a 1960s um like a caravan, the silver bullet caravans. You know those ones that are like, they look like all
Yeah,
silver.
the jet
Airstream they're called.
stream thing or
Yeah.
whatever they're called. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was there, and it was parked on this top of this hill that overlooked the entire downtown of LA. And they just renovated the whole inside. And it had its own block, and you thought you were completely by yourself until you realised that the house next door that looked into the yard was actually the hosts. So they were just watching you the whole time anyway. Like,
Okay.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, the hosts are always around.
Yeah, they knew you weren't having, like, any ridiculous parties or anything
Yeah,
in their caravan.
yeah, exactly.
Is that your probably your craziest travel story as well?
Craziest travel story. Oh no, I had a rough time in Prague. I I will never go back to Prague. I got bailed up by a security guard at a nightclub because he decided that I must have looked like an easy. He was a massive guy, St. Burgess guy, decided to pin me against a wall. And then when I didn't have enough money in my wallet to give him, marched me to the ATM through the club like no one cared. And I had to like lie my way out of there to just say, "Oh, that's all the money I have. That's all the money I have," and give him some money and just leg it. I don't know. It must just look like a soft target or something. Um, then the next day, I because I wasn't really thinking straight still. They don't run euros, so they run like Czech crown. So I accidentally, when I got money out, pressed an extra zero on the ATM, and
Uh-oh.
instead of taking out $300 worth of crown, I took $3,000 worth of crown. Um,
Oh,
and we were leaving like the very next day. I think it was a Sunday, and then I had to before 9 a.m. get to the exchange place because nowhere else in Europe will take their money. So I had to try and get all my money back and change it all. Lost money doing that. I left Anne with somebody at a vineyard where she was having wines and stuff. I just wanted to go back to. I think we're in a hostel at that point. I just wanted to go back and hang out. My phone went flat on the. I think I was on a tram at that point, and I got lost in the middle of Prague with no phone. And I don't know if you've ever seen like Czech language, but it does not make sense. It's like
it's just gibberish if you have no idea what it says.
letters are backwards and upside down, and like it's just all over the shop. So it took me hours and hours and hours. So Prague is a lovely place to look at, but I'm not going back to Prague.
Yep. Yeah, their language is like you're not deciphering it just by looking at it for a little bit and be
No.
like, "Oh, maybe it's this."
Yeah, I think we had in Glasgow, right after we got engaged in the Isle of Skye in Scotland. Um, we had to pay the taxi driver for some reason in Glasgow with cash. So I had to go, same thing, I had to go to an ATM. But he started scoping out Anne's engagement ring while I wasn't in the cab with Anne.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was a bit sketchy. I nearly got beaten up at a railway station after we went to Pompeii. Didn't think like I just thought, oh, I'll just wear. We were staying in Rome, caught the train out to Pompeii, did our Airbnb experience, which was really cool. So they don't just do the stays or whatever. They also do the experiences where you can book someone that's an expert in something, teach you how to cook, whatever. So we booked a
Oh, okay.
like an archaeologist expert of Pompeii, and they took us around Pompeii. Awesome.
Sweet.
But we went from Rome, and I thought I was super cool wearing my Roma soccer shirt that I just bought. Didn't think about it like here you can just wear your Dragons jersey to Sydney and people will maybe yell at you, but that's about it. Didn't
Yep.
think about going through Napoli and like out to wherever in the middle of Italy. And this guy was just scoping me out on the train station. Like he walked past me, I think probably 6 or 7 times. Got on the train, he kind of walked through the train, eyeing me off. I just wanted to yell, "I'm Australian, I'm sorry, I don't know." Leave me
I don't
alone.
know the rules.
I don't want to die for this team. I just thought the shirt was cool. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's like wearing like a United jersey in um London or something. Like it's just don't do it.
yeah.
Like you're just gonna get messed up.
Apparently, if you wear the Rangers jerseys in different parts of Glasgow, um,
Hmm.
or Celtic jersey in the wrong
Or
part,
Celtic, yeah.
people have
If
been
you're on the
killed
wrong
for it.
side of town,
Yeah, like actually killed. So yeah, I learned my lesson. Thankfully, by the time I got to Scotland, that was a bad choice.
but it sounds like Europe sketchy.
Yeah, you know what? Like you just learn. Like I wouldn't do that again now. I think you get lucky sometimes. People obviously get unlucky sometimes, but that's part of the traveling. I think you do dumb things and you learn.
Yep. Did you have any sort of crazy experiences in the US? I know I had a couple.
I got bailed up by a homeless guy one time in Philadelphia. No, we were pretty good. I think a lot of the time the language barrier kind of helped us out. I mean,
Yep.
people hear that you're Australian over there, and they kind of just give you a bit of extra rope because they think you're funny and you ride a kangaroo to work like The Simpsons. But
Yep.
yeah, I found it a little bit easier there. We were in New Orleans when somebody got shot in the street, and came back out of a bar we were in, and it was all police taped up and crazy. But other than that, we're pretty good.
Yeah, I think the craziest one I had was both in LA actually. I was wandering around trying to find the last bookstore, turned a corner and was like, oh, I'm on Skid Row. I don't want to be here. So I turned around and walked away from there. And then on one of the days before the wrestling at the Globe Theatre, we were sitting in the bar next door. And then all of a sudden there was like a big Muslim like parade that nobody, not even the Americans that lived in LA knew that this was happening. And it just started going down the street and they had like this big like sheet placard thing and it was painted with red paint that looked like blood. And that was just terrifying to be sitting in this bar, walk outside. I was like, what is all the noise? And then you see that and you're like, I'm just going to go back in here because I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just ended up sitting in the bar until the doors opened to the theater and then we went straight in there.
Yeah, I think LA, like a lot of the homelessness in America is the worst thing. Like it's insane. I knew it was bad.
Especially in California where it's quite warm, so there's heaps of them.
Yeah.
Outdoors all the time. They're not
New Orleans
in
after the hurricanes and stuff that they get, like that was pretty bad. So yeah, sketchy.